Hello, my name is Liga Reimann, naturopath, and today we will talk about parasites. Many questions I receive every day, but where can I get invasion? I don't understand. We wash our hands, we clean, we keep the hygiene. Where can I get them? Okay, so today we will talk about that, and I will go briefly through where are these sources of invasion, parasite invasion, because they do affect us very much. I am talking from experience, and most of the people can get infected with worms by ingesting the eggs, so eating them. For example, clear example is pinworms. Child can get eggs while playing in sandbox because quite often there was a doggy or there was a cat running around or had a poo or digging, and we do not need it. We do not live under microscope. We do not live in a sterile world, and that can happen. It could be even sand on a beach. How many people walk with animals? Look yourself. I live in Spain. I'll see every day. I love animals, but they are allowed everywhere, on the beaches, in the restaurants, in the shopping centers, and they are one of the sources also of parasite invention. So when we have also pets and different environment, we need to be aware of it, and we need these general precautions, herbs, and regular anti-parasite programs, which keep our body healthy, and so do our animals. Because as we know, when we have animals and we go to vets, they regularly get these pills, deworming pills. However, I've seen that sometimes after vet's deworming pills, we had the herbs and we still had parasites coming out. I'm talking from a real life. So yeah, playing in a sandbox. When we get in a contact with what's in a sandbox and we don't know what's there, or playing in the sand, we love beaches as well, and we love bees there. Also typical, for example, for roundworms, which enters the body through contaminated vegetables or fruit. I know I lived at grandmother's on my summer, and we loved how it grows all in a garden, and you just grab it in your mouth, or you take from a shop and you eat it. But you never know how many transitions and transfers and hands and people and boxes and machines it's been through. Okay. And therefore, I also have recommendations to always wash your veggies and fruit. And also trematodes we can get from a poorly cooked seafood or meat. Actually, like seafood, ladies, hello, love sushi. That's a very common. Raw fish, always there. Or raw steak. My husband used to love it. Oh, mamma mia, it could be full with these eggs, not only with parasites, but also with eggs from parasites. These are not only infection routes, and I want you to know and be aware. These, for example, parasite eggs can also enter the body through inhaled dust, because it could be in a pet's breathing or somewhere around in the nature. They also light and they fly in the air, and we can inhale it without noticing. And once inside, they migrate through our bloodstream and get to our gut system, grow there, and again through the leaky gut quite often. Lots of inflammation causes leaky gut, and through leaky gut it gets into bloodstream, and it can get to any organs in our body. And there are also worms who can enter through the skin, hookworms, schistosomes, and a root is called meaning through the skin. Especially also there's a we go swimming in the lakes, in the rivers. Lakes, rivers are better because it's a flowing water, sea with the salt. But however, if you got, for example, public pools, huge amount of people, all these aqua parks. Last summer we went to aqua park in Benidorm, and imagine in one day in the aqua park is the average once a time is 5,000 people. And actually, this is a huge microflora exchange in that water, even it's a heavily salted or heavily actually put ingredients in the water. So also what I realized, we had a couple of cases when a lady had problems with the skin. She came in and we find a problem in a microbiome. There's a multiplied actually parasites from a lake waters. So there are parasites when you're swimming and you get in through your mouth. It also can be actually get through the swimming, acquired in a ponds, any area where you swim. Okay. So waterborne roots. So another one, it's very, very common in tropical regions where is no winter. So it's always nice, this warm weather, for example. And there are different kinds of worms, thread worms and Cucuria, which spreads through the mosquito bites. I've seen my family has a severe reaction to it, males, and we know what to do, okay? But there's another type of infections, vector-borne. Another common source is infection is animals. About traveling, in particular about traveling, when we are with my family going and traveling to different countries, there's anti-parasite herbs and antibiotics. They always is a must-have for my traveling kit. So this is pau d'arco, cat's claw, natural antibiotics, not disrupting microbiome, and also oregano, opistov, black walnut, paraphyte combination, laxmax with 12, 17 herb combination. It's always with me, because I know we do not know who cooked the food, how it's cooked, how good it is, mosquito bites and other things, water, public swimming pools and so on. It's a huge amount of microorganisms around us. Another very, very common what I found, it's people who have pets at home. They are a source of infection, and it's an open door to parasites. Cats, dogs are carrying eggs in their fur, they can lick, and we pet them. The most dangerous is when we sleep with these pets. They're in our bed. You say that we got definitely parasite infections. And I had a case when 8 years old girl for 3 years had severe eczema symptoms, and we regularly they tried for 3 years different kinds of dermatology creams, hormonal creams, and it was, as soon as you put cream it works, as soon as you don't, it doesn't work, it all comes back. So it's never was solution. And we started going through anti-parasite, good cleansing, and restoring good microbiome. And she was really good. These symptoms were disappearing, but I noticed after 2 months, it's really quickly were coming back. And I didn't realize, but then I asked the mom and said, have you got any pets at home? And she said, yeah, we got like 2 or 3 cats. I'm like, have you regularly deworm your cats? No, not really. We just do once in half a year or once a year. I'm like, okay, this is an open door, and you pet them and you sleep with them and you kiss them. You're definitely going to have this. And as soon as we started deworming the cats, though, this effect of anti-parasite and skin results were much, much longer. So if we, it's very, very important here is wash our hands, yeah? If we don't, but particularly with the small children, these pets sleep with the children and next to the children, so we risk these infections into our mouths, from hands, nails, everywhere around us. The biggest risk is roundworms and tapeworms transmitted directly from pets. And yes, cleaning litter boxes, so also use, for example, gloves, because they are a real source of infection. So when we talk about biohelminthosis, I want to let you know that also, for example, we need to understand that what happens when we eat raw meat and raw fish. Food is cooked for us or not cooked well enough. We can not only eat the worms itself, okay, but also the eggs. And they actually, with the tissues, they live in these tissues, okay? And we become immediate hosts for them, okay? So intermediate host of the beef tapeworm is a cow. So for example, cow has a tapeworm, it's coming from other sources, and final host we are humans. And the same as the fish tapeworm, for example. There are a couple of stages of hosts. There's a crustacean, then there's a fish, and we, at the end, it's a human. Okay, seafood. Oh my God, you know, I love seafood. I love seafood. That's why, for example, Opistop is my common anti-parasite herb for me, because I love seafood. But every time, if we salmon, sushi, and all this uncooked fish, it's a really, really, how do you say, a big risk for people regularly doing this. And now, most important, parasites also not only live inside of us. You do need to understand that they actually consume 60% of our nutrients, which is all intended for us. That's why when you use vitamins and good nutrients, but you've never been through gut cleansing, anti-parasite, colon cleanse, it's a waste of money and waste of resources, because you feed yours. For example, one of the cases, anemia. Yeah, one of the cases I had anemia. If you don't go to anti-parasite cleanse and ask a reader who drinks the blood, you're regularly going to be piling the iron in your body, and the iron level, as you drink, it goes up and regularly goes down. As soon as you do gut cleansing anti-parasite program, and you just use spirulina as a natural source of iron, your iron levels are absolutely fine. And I've seen it in practice. It's absolutely amazing how it works. And the most frightening part, they not just eat our nutrients, what's actually are ours, so therefore we have deficiencies, but by feeding them, they're actually causing lots of symptoms, because it all leaves this poo and toxins and everything inside of us. Okay. And well adapted, some of them are, so we for years might not notice them, and suddenly some diagnosis in 5-10 years time comes out. Also, one of the really kind of dangerous one is Toxoplasma, single cord organism disease, toxoplasmosis. People often get infected to infection with cats or dogs, and you can see actually there's a thing, and that's intermediate host is a rat, and actually then it's a definite host is a cat, and from cat we get it too. Oh, cats are wonderful hosts. Okay, that picture is too big, but never mind. And here's the interesting observation. When mouse scientists observed that mouse infected with Toxoplasma doesn't avoid the cats, because they got common. Cat got Toxoplasma, he got, and he kind of like buddies, friends. This means that parasites can actually influence and dictate our behavior. It was influencing mouse's behavior, mice behavior, mouse. So even illogical human behavior can be linked to parasite influence. I'm not talking about even mental disorders or skin problems and so on. So also latest studies show that actually there is a connection and link between the Toxoplasma and Gondii infection, increased risk of suicide, especially in women. For example, that study was made in 2012 in Denmark and published in a journal where general psychiatry with over 45,000 women participating. And it found that the women with positive Toxoplasma antibodies had up to 2 times higher risk of thinking about attempting suicide. So that's massively integrated into our mental well-being. And I'm not going to go through all the now diagnoses how can affect it, but it can affect it. And it believes that Toxoplasma affects the brain chemistry, particularly dopamine and serotonin metabolism. Also, for example, seen vegetative dystonia disorders, it can kind of reduce or go down by just herbal anti-parasite programs. It can trigger also inflammatory reactions in the brain and also in other places in your body, linked to depression, anxiety, and suicidal behavior. So Toxoplasma is also associated with increased risk of schizophrenia, so bipolar disorders, aggression, and impulsivity. And I actually linked it and seen, I got a couple of people with schizophrenia things going on in a family, and they always lived with the cats or slept with the cats or pet lots of cats. I'm not saying they are not good ones. They all obviously give us lots of comfort and give us lots of comfort. Oops. I want to look at that video. Lots of comfort and love. Here is all sources of parasitic worms. We can be infected. Untreated water, definite one. Playgrounds, kitchen, public transport. Oh, because lots of public going through schools for children. Because I remember when my mother was working as a teacher in post-Soviet region, they had a rule that each teacher had to pass for a test a box of little box, Machi's box of poo, and in 80–90% of them were found as small parasites. And they was directed to do anti-parasite, and the same was with the children. Nowadays we keep quiet in medical world, it does not exist, but they didn't disappear anywhere. It's still there. And I see my children when they used to attend public schools. That's why we gladly work and study better online, that we actually socializing with the friends, but actually schools are wide open door as well. Switches, insects, pets, also traveling. I already mentioned that, eating habits and lifestyle, working in a garden and so on. That's why we wash our hands. Even if you deworm the animal with a veterinary pharmacy, I recommend going through the program with natural anti-parasite herbs because they are safe for animals, they are safe for children. They are from sources of natural herbs in nature. And here, for example, I want you to look at the video. That was a cat which was having anti-parasite herbs after even having veterinary pharmacy deworming tablets. And 3 days after, he had anti-parasite black walnut herbs, papaya, black walnut, and so on. He's actually vomited out this. Have a look. That's a proper big worms. And he had deworming tablets. This is out of cat. He just vomited out. We have lots of videos like that, but I'm not going to take your time to show all of them. So sometimes these, it's even moving yet. Sometimes unpleasant surprises can happen. Actually, if you noticed your dogs, they're running outside and vomiting and eating grass, that's another cause. That's a natural way they try to cleanse themselves. Okay, so helps them with herbal anti-parasite programs. They are safe and natural. And that's about it in this video. Thank you for listening. You do need to understand that it's a silent microscopical world around us. It doesn't mean it does not exist, and it really affects our health. So thank you for listening, and bye.